So the first thing I would say is don't be afraid to reflect.
Mm-hmm.
Like watch the game film. And that's what I'm saying. That's sports terminology. But whatever it is, watch the game film. People don't like to watch game film because that's where you see all of your mistakes. But that's also where you get an opportunity to, one, fix those mistakes, but two, to see what you're doing right.
Yes.
You know, you need to know what you're doing wrong, but you need to know what you're doing right as well. So don't be afraid to watch the game film.
Everyone, welcome. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to us to another episode of Black Sports Network with our Women in Sports series. Today we have Miss Lisa Willis from the LBC. An amazing man. I'm going to say amazing. Catalog is amazing. So interested, so excited for you to hear her story. So, Miss Lisa, we're going to get right into it. Let's get right into the rapid questions. These are these questions are going to really have you thinking right here. All right, so you ready to go?
I like the setup. Let's get it.
Two things. New York City or LA?
Ooh. Why are you going to come out the gates like that?
Well, this is how we move.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to go with LA.
Go to LA. Cool. Now we're going to talk about highways. 405 or 95?
95. 95. I'm taking it.
Smartest person you know?
Ooh, smartest person I know. Maybe my friend, Dr. Stacy.
Dr. Stacy, cool beans. Instagram or LinkedIn?
You're killing me. Instagram.
Cool. Warm weather or cold weather?
Warm.
Pizza or tacos?
Tacos.
Lakers or Clippers?
Clippers.
Kanye or Drake?
Oh, Kanye. I'm going to go with Drake. Yeah.
Best live concert you ever been to?
Beyonce.
Martin or Living Single?
Martin.
Cool beans. And that's it. That's what we did. We just wanted to get our rapid fire, get the juices flowing, get the mind flowing, so we can have a great interview. So thank you for participating in that ride, Lisa Willis.
I would say competitive, giving, and funny.
Funny. Would you like to give us a snapshot of why you say those three things?
Yeah, competitive. Like, I'm always trying to be better. Like, I literally wake up trying to be better than I was the day before, every single day. I'm always trying to be efficient just with what I do, even when it comes down to, driving somewhere. If MapQuest says 33 minutes, I'm like, I know I can do it in 30. Easy. But that's how I am with every single thing, even at work, if it's inputting information. How quickly can I get this done efficiently? And then giving, was that the next one? Giving. I just feel like I literally live by to whom much is given, much is required.
Oh, amen.
And I've been given so much and in so many different arenas of my life. And so now, when it comes to legacy, it's like, these are the things that I want to be a part of my legacy. And you have to give in order to create that. And then funny, I think I'm funny.
I mean, why not, right?
I laugh.
The ability to make people laugh, right? That's a unique skill that people don't have, right? And it's just more so like the energy and the vibrant that comes in when you walk in the room and whatnot. Just a joy to be around somebody that smiles a lot, people that makes up funny. So that's what's up. So let's get right into it. What do you love more, basketball or youth development?
At this point in my life, youth development. Okay. Yeah, youth development. That goes into just giving back. A lot of youth where they're at right now is out of their control. When we get to be older, then some of the misfortunes, like we can now do what we have to do to provide course correction. But when you're still young, like living under your parents or your guardian's house in an environment that you might not want, with dreams, not completely jaded yet, it's like, I want to be that person that can pour into you.
So, and I see as a 10th grader, you committed to UCLA.
Yes.
Why so early and why UCLA?
Yeah. So in the 10th grade, I verbally committed to UCLA. In the 6th grade, I personally committed to UCLA.
Wow.
You know, so I was at a basketball camp, not a UCLA camp, but it was a Blue Star camp. And after the camp was over, me and my dad, we were walking around campus, and I was like, I'm going here.
This is it. This is the school right here. I see myself, Lady Bruins, all of the big swab that comes with UCLA. And he was like, you know what? This is going to be my school of choice.
Yep.
So I see when it comes to UCLA, how involved are you still with UCLA?
I'm more so involved with the athletic department right now than the actual women's basketball team.
Okay.
We've had some events and I've been able to like host them via Zoom since COVID, but that's been more so for the women alumni. But when it comes to the athletic department, all sports, I've been able to work with some athletic directors. We have some big stuff coming up, so I'm looking forward to that.
Shout out to UCLA. A few players last night was able to walk across the stage, such as you did, right back in 2006. I mean, what is that feeling? Since we're coming on the day after, right? Do you remember that day? I'm sure you do. But what comes to mind when you see that every single year? Because you can't move, you can't do it without it.
Yeah, I mean, draft day is always going to be like etched in my head, etched in my heart. Like, I never aspired to be in the WNBA. Never. And so, or I'll say that wasn't a long-term goal.
Yeah.
I just love basketball so much. I was just so competitive that my passion mixed with my competitive nature just allowed me to get better and better every year until I was playing on, you know, the right platforms. Yeah. And so it's draft day. I was thinking I might go about number 9, number 10, because some of the other W players were telling me like what they thought the order was. And I had never given this any thought. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe they know. They've been paying attention to this kind of stuff for like the past 4 years. So maybe they know. And so I'm sitting there. What is it? The 4th pick just happened. They go to commercial break. The Sparks have the number 5 pick coming after the commercial break. And I lean over to my mom and I'm just like, Mom, like, I think I want to go to the Sparks. She's like, you do? And I was like, yeah. Like then I got really nervous. Yeah. Because picks 1 through 4, I was just like, cool, like do your thing, like it's cool. Yeah. But then the Sparks are coming up. And I was like, I think I want to go to the Sparks.
Hometown, you know, it's like, yo, let's get it.
Yep. And so then that's when I got nervous. That seemed like an hour-long commercial break, probably like 60 seconds. During the commercial break, they're giving highlights of who they think is going to go to the Sparks. It was me. So now I'm really like, oh, man. Yeah, so they're talking about how I could shoot, I could play defense, this, that, and the third, IQ's high. And I'm like, but do the Sparks know this? And so they called my name and it was like a lot. It was a big release that I had, but that release built up so quickly because this wasn't a long time dream. So both my parents were there, my sister, my best friend, my agent, and it was just like, they were just so proud, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it, right? From someone who's from California, the ability to go to college in California, now you're drafted by a team in California. It's just like, that is a lot right there. And Craig, you didn't even see it. You didn't even see that, right? You were just like, I'm just hooping, right? Yeah. If I'm blessed to be drafted, I'm blessed to be drafted. You know, I'm just hooping right now. And then come to find out, 5th overall pick, 2006 draft. Was there any added pressure to you? Because you didn't have like all layers of California being on your back, so to speak. and now you perform at the highest point in terms of WNBA. Was there any added pressure to that?
Not really. I mean, my dad's been putting pressure on me since I came out the womb. So, but nothing out of the usual. As a matter of fact, it was, I told him, like, you could kick back now. Like, I did it. So yeah, no, there was no real pressure. Like my initial year, my rookie year, Kobe's dad, Jelly Bean, was a coach.
Okay.
That's probably the most laid back coach that you could have and still call him a coach. Like at some point, it's like, wait, you're not even coaching. Like Kobe's dad had that mentality, like, you're a pro. And so there was no pressure except for the pressure to just do me.
When you say that, was he one of those just roll out the ball, blow the whistle here and there kind of coaches? Or was it like, I'm going to be a player's coach and let them figure it out, and I'll come back and coach them up and figure, whether or not they got it right or not?
Yes. So the latter. So that was his mentality. But he was surrounded by assistant coaches who were a little bit more militant.
Yeah.
So you could always tell where the messaging was coming from, no matter who delivered it.
Yeah. Right. Then in 2010, right, your life shifts.
Right.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, it was devastating in retrospect.
Yes.
In retrospect, it was devastating. And I say that because, first of all, I ended my career due to a knee injury in September 2010. But I retired from the WNBA in June. And so I just, my train was up. Like, I never saw myself playing in the WNBA, let alone playing until I was 50.
Yes.
And so I had enough of the W. And so I told my agent I was done. But then I was like, you know what, I'm going to go overseas one more time just to, now I can properly, leave. And so turning down contracts left and right because just the European market was really shaken up because one of the big funders of women's basketball was murdered, a Russian guy, mafia dude. Yeah, and so now that impacts me because now they're looking to my people who pay me to pay them. I'm like, wait, hold on. You stick with the people with the big bucks. I got the middle class hoopers. That's my area.
Where they do that at?
Right. Like, come on now. And so turning down a lot of contracts, and I finally get arguably the best contract that I ever received. And so it came through a lot of perks, good money, blase. My agent tells me about it. I'm like, sweet, they're in Turkey. So I'll sign it when I get back home. I'm gonna go hoop. Regular, like, this is what I do. I didn't make it back home. I was at the gym, tore my ACL, MCL, LCL, and it was over. It was over. And being a very spiritual person, I said all the things that helped me not to fail. So I said, God has it under control. Like, he wouldn't bring me this far just to drop me. There's much more. Like, and I'm just feeling myself, just regurgitating the word. But that was a loss. Yeah. And so when you lose something, you need to grieve. And I didn't grieve. I just told myself, you know what? I need a new job. Trying to downplay the significance of basketball. And I did that because I had been battling for so many years prior and after not wanting to be looked at as a basketball player. Yes. So when I was injured, when I ended my career, it was just like, I just need to find a new job. The W's over. And it's like, no, like, that was your happy place, your favorite pastime, your social, your fitness, and your job, and your first love, your longest relationship. It was all of these things. But if I'm not acknowledging that it's all of those things, I'm not really understanding that there's a big hole in my heart. And so I was like depressed, but didn't know I was depressed. because I'm telling myself, all this stuff to keep me going.
Yeah, it's funny you said. I mean, it's so many people to this day that goes through that, right? Like not having that proper moment to just relieve and talk about and really, really just act upon how they're feeling.
Right.
Oftentimes, many people, they just find themselves going in the corner and just pouting and so forth, whatever the case may be. So I'm glad you acknowledged that, because, I mean, mental health is something that's very, very critical and is big, not just when you was going through it, but throughout the course of time, right? Just that shift of thinking could have opened up a lot of people's mind to be like, yo, it's not where you start, it's where you finish.
Right.
And like what you said on the spiritual side of things, like God got you. Don't worry about it. He got you. It may not hard to be in the moment and really understand that, but just know that he has you. So I'm glad you acknowledge that and whatnot. And look how that bounced, right? You got think, work, play. You got all these other like you just said, youth development is something what you're passionate about. You got all these different things. Now, how did your mom play a part in you making that shift when it comes to youth development?
Yeah, I mean, I come from a service-driven family. My dad had basketball teams where, he was always pouring into the youth. And then my mom started a nonprofit for foster care children. My sister is an elementary school principal. My other sister, she works with Child and Family Services. She's a therapist. Yeah. And so all around me, and I don't want to leave out my brothers. Like my brothers, they're cool people. They're just not, doing the same stuff. But all around me, I see just people giving to the young, and so I was brought up the same way. And so I would say my mom, she intentionally set out to do something for the youth. And once I stopped playing basketball, I kind of took over the nonprofit, used a little bit of my platform to expand it, and just tried to run with it. So she had a lot to do with it.
Yeah. So, and I know during this time as an athlete, like what you said, basketball became your first love. And I just watched Love and Basketball the other day. So I just got all these different Love and Basketball phrases, married to basketball, all those kind of stuff, right? So did you have that moment where you was like, you had an itch to want to play or coach?
I never had an itch to want to coach. I never did.
But you made history doing it, though.
I did. Like on 3 different levels, I did. But it always came from the youth development standpoint. So it's like, okay, basketball, anytime I do something youth related, basketball is always going to be my hook. And so coaching, that's why I say I don't consider myself a basketball coach. I consider myself a coach who's very knowledgeable about the ins and outs of basketball. So yeah, but coaching, I never wanted to be a coach because the people who are evaluating me, they use a different criteria than what I would use. And so it's like I'm setting myself up for failure because I'm going to feel good about what I'm doing personally with these young guys or girls. And they're like, but are you winning? Yeah. And it's like, well, first, let's think about the caliber of players you brought in here. It takes time. Like, depending on which arena, I mean, because when I coached in college, in high school, and in the G League, you have to everybody's coming with baggage. Everybody. And you have to be patient enough to help them unload it so that you guys can sort through it together so that now you can get them to do what you need them to do. That's going to help them and going to help the team, but some people, they don't understand the personal relationship part of coaching. Which is so critical, right? Like, what's the phrase that whatchamacallit said? Bill Parcells says, right? They want you to cook up the ingredients, but they don't want you to serve it. I forgot what he said, and I won't use that. I'll edit that out because I botched that up. So I won't use that right there. But it's just like, people understanding that, hey, listen, you want me to coach, but like what you said, understand what I'm working with. It's a difference between D1, D2, D3 athletes and JUCO athletes per se. And like everyone has their own baggage, whether it be academics, whether it be other things, or just talent per se. So there's a lot that goes into that. So
2019, right? You make history, right? You become the New York Knicks organization, but also the Westchester Knicks first women's coach. What did you learn and what was that feeling like?
Oh man, I learned so much.
Yes.
I learned so much. The feeling was great.
Mm-hmm.
The feeling was great. It was a huge sense of accomplishment, an accomplishment an achievement that I never set out. Like it happened because I just wanted to be a better coach for my high school girls. And so I enrolled in the NBA Assistant Coaches Program, which is a program that the NBA does for retired WNBA, NBA, and G League players to get them, to groom them to be a coach. So I did well in the program and I got a chance to interview for the Knicks. And so now here I am, got the job with the Knicks. And now there's a lot of media like, oh my gosh, breaking glass ceilings. And I'm like, oh, snaps. Okay, like I did that. That's cool, you know? And so while I'm there, I mean, just being a woman in a male-dominated industry, that's tough. That's so tough. Like, it's crazy, though. You would have to actually be in my situation because on the outside, like on the surface level, everybody was so nice. Great people. Can I do this or this for you? Like, I mean, they rolled out. And I'll say it even goes deeper than the surface level. Like in most areas, it ran deep. They loved me. The players loved me. Staff loved me. You know, administration loved me. It was great. My only issue or struggle came when it was time for basketball. Like the basketball part of it, I just felt like I could have given a little bit more. And I don't think that they got to see my full potential, you know? And so that was really my only issue. But if somebody said, you know, how was your experience? I would say great, no doubt. Like I got to really do what I've been doing for the last 10 years at the highest level. For sure. You know, because yes, I was assigned to Westchester Knicks, but I still had New York Knicks guys who would come and talk to me. You know, I had New York Knicks guys who, well, they're not there anymore. They're on another team, but they would talk to me. I'm a Knicks fan. Yeah, I'm a Knicks fan. So yeah, those teams, those players is no longer with the Knicks and whatnot. Yeah, it was a transition years, so to speak. Right. Yeah, it was a lot of transitional, a lot of heartbreaking times. I'm just going off right now. I remember those days. I remember those moments. It was like very, very tough. But yeah. Yeah. And so, I mean, that was great. But it's like for me, any organization that you go to, and I had to learn this, like this isn't unique to the Knicks, but any organization you go to, if you're not coming in as a head person in charge, then that means you have to defer to the head person in charge. Yeah, right. You know, I've always been the head coach. Yeah. So now being the assistant coach and seeing our head coach do things differently, not wrong, just differently, it's just like, gosh, like, I would do it this way. So I had to like get myself together. Like, no, you're here to serve. So then it's like about, or to assist. So now it's like, how do I help? Yeah. You know, him see what I see and what I know is important. So it was like a battle like that for me because I had never been in that position before. I mean, when you sit there and think about it, you've always been the person, so to speak, right? So now when it's time to take a step back and be like, okay. I don't mind being a team player, but I just don't know how to communicate different visions of what we have in terms of serving per se. So it's just like, it's one of those kind of things where it's like, okay, how do I get over that aspect of it? So I definitely understand, you know, where you was at in terms of
that particular level. So now, I mean, fun facts, right? You got 14 female NBA coaches now. I mean, how long do we see a woman's head coach in the NBA or the G League?
Yeah, I think both of those. I think that's right around the corner. Mm-hmm. Oddly enough, I see a woman coaching in the NBA as a head coach before the G League. The G League is just a different beast.
It's just different.
It's just a different beast. And
walk us through that, because from the outside looking in, obviously this year is the first year we've had that glimpse as far as G League, right? With them being on national TV and whatnot. So we had an opportunity to really understand what the G League is about in terms of the players per se and the teams and things. That at one point, we didn't even know all the teams that was involved, right? Not every team has an affiliate for the G League. That NBA team that has an affiliate. So it's just like that understanding the G League. So walk us through, like, when it comes to traveling, when it comes to just overall being in the G League.
Yeah, like the G League is like almost the minor league or it's their development league. Yeah. And so some people will consider it like the JV team to the varsity, the minor league to the major. But point blank, it's the development league. Mm-hmm. And when you look at development, honestly, a lot of these guys in the G leagues, skill set are equivalent or even better. Some of these G League guys can get downhill way better than some of these NBA guys. Mm-hmm. What's missing is the mindset. You know, like some of them, yeah, it's absolutely the mindset, or their basketball IQ or their emotional intelligence. A lot of times it's not their game. Now, there are definitely players that will be G League players forever. Like, you have to fill the roster. Like, you have those players. I mean, it is what it is. The NBA has those guys too. Every team has those, slots that they have to fill. But the G League is a place, it's chaotic. Nobody wants to be there. If you're the GM of a G League team, you probably want to be the GM of the affiliate. Yeah. You don't say, I want to be the G, like if you're the coach, if you're the Dobo, if you're the player, if you're the trainer, like nobody wants to be there. Yeah. And so part of my struggle was, okay, but we have to be where we're at. Yeah. We have to be here. We have to serve these guys right here, in a certain way to help them be successful. Because anytime you get a promotion based off of what you've already demonstrated. For sure. So you can't just skip this, So I don't know. It was just a chaotic place. And so, I mean, trades happen sometimes. Like, your roster is different almost every single day. Really? Every single game. Wow. Yeah, because some players will come from the affiliate team to the G League team. And
a spot has to be taken.
Yep. Wow. So now that disrupts the whole offense. That disrupts everything that you've been working on. But the whole idea is to have a place for these players to come. So honestly, in my opinion, I don't think that the G League was really... There's a lot of reasons why I feel the G League was put together. One, so that you could kind of farm, some great players in your own backyard, but and keep them from going overseas, so you could see them here. But the other part is for those NBA guys to come over to have an opportunity, like players, let's say 13, 14, 15. Now you have an opportunity to come and work some stuff out. So if you look at the NBA, over 50% of the guys in the NBA have played in the G League because they need to work on. It's like, let's see if you can get it.
Yeah, get that competitive juices flowing and really see one of you still got it, and two, what that feels like, and just turns out. How's it traveling with that? Like, how did you guys travel?
It's not like the NBA. So the buses are nice. You know, nice buses.
Top tier charter buses.
Second to top tier.
Oh, second top tier.
Right below top tier.
Okay.
But,
follow that.
you know, it's cool. We're also traveling we're not traveling to Los Angeles or Miami or, you know, we're traveling to Sioux Falls, you know, Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just a little bit different, you know, flying commercial. I mean, almost like an AAU team, because I don't even think colleges are flying commercial.
Yeah.
So the budget is definitely different.
Okay. Thank you for that snapshot. Just wanted to know what that snapshot looks like. So we go from coaching professional, right? Now we pivot into Nike, right? Part of the creation department as an associate product line manager. How do we get there?
Yeah, it was a dope opportunity. I found out about it. So there's this program called Women in Nike, and it's a collaboration between the WNBA and Nike. And basically one of the SVPs was watching a WNBA game a couple years ago, really admiring the players, like the people on the court, not just the athlete, but the people on the court. And he said, I want those women to come work at Nike when they're done. Just like that. Wow. And so a partnership was formed. And some of my friends were in the first cohort. And I'm like, yo, like, tell me about that. And so I was like really digging just the opportunity that they had to do something different, do something new. For sure. And probably my favorite brand. And so when the opportunity came along, I was like, oh, I'm definitely applying. So I applied. It was a rigorous application process. And so many months later, it's like I got the job. And what does that day-to-day look like? Day-to-day, so basically, I'm in the promo teams and licensing department for men's basketball. And so what falls under that is the NBA. I don't work on NBA, but the NBA, then I have G League, NCAA, grassroots, and grassroots being like Mount Verdi, DeNatha, so Christ the King. So grassroots, USA basketball. And so, basically right now, right? The Olympics coming up. I said, I know y'all busy with the Olympics coming up and what that looks like and things of that nature. Well, yes and no. Like, first of all, this work was done the year before because of COVID. Yeah. Right. And then the cycle, like right now I'm working on stuff for spring 23. Wow. So it happened so far, you know, in advance. But basically all the stuff that the team gets, that's what I work on. I work on the retail side of it too, but basically the team, you get insight from the team, then you work with design, tech dev, and, you know, myself, and we make sure that what they want with our expertise is what they get at the end. So like just making sure that the vision stays clear the whole way. For sure. Like project management, but product. What would you say would have been your best experience thus far there? Just having the insight to see what really goes into a uniform. Yeah. I've worn uniforms my entire life and I had no idea what went into it. Science behind it. The science, like, and the stories, and, you know, it's just amazing that every uniform that we do is unique to that school. You know, even if it has like we just worked on something for USC, and they just have they have Women of Troy. And so there's like a little like Greek little thing trimming. And it's like, that's unique to USC. And our designers can give you a long history about it. You know, so just seeing that kind of stuff, seeing it start go from just the concept to an actual garment, whether it's a sample or a finished product, that's cool. And so the best part has been the W. I don't work on women's basketball. I only work on men's, but, we're counterparts. And when the uniforms launched last week, like I was filled with emotion because I felt like somebody finally got it right.
Yeah.
Like we're now, the pay. Okay, fine. Like we're not talking about pay. We're just talking about the respect that should be put on our names. And I think that the women's basketball team did a phenomenal job, and they have even greater stuff that we just briefed in for the future. So it feels good.
So as a competitor, one word that described yourself, what was your thoughts going working on something for USC from someone who's went to UCLA? Was you like, oh man, here we go with this USC stuff? Like,
yes.
What was going on with your mind? You was like, oh man, here we go.
So the funny thing is that like in college, UCLA women's basketball and USC women's basketball, we always talk trash to each other, like hard trash. Oh, we always liked each other. So we were just like feeding into it. I'm literally at a Trojan's house right now. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone.
Okay, I won't tell.
But like, yeah. But no, it's like, so I play the role. So when they ask me stuff, because they know I'm a Bruin, so they'll say, so how is this for USC? I'm like, I'll say something like, I don't even know if USC is worth all that. Just talking trash.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, we're all like friends. So.
Yeah. It's just, it's that competitive spirit, but it's respectful competitive. Yeah. 4 gems that would you like to leave for the young people when it comes to Black Sports Network? We like to educate, empower, inspire, and transform. So if you could just give us 4 different examples of educating, empowering, inspiring, transforming. Go ahead. It's on you.
Yeah. So the first thing I would say is don't be afraid to reflect. Like watch the game film. And that's what I'm saying. That's sports terminology. But whatever it is, watch the game film. People don't like to watch game film because that's where you see all of your mistakes. But that's also where you get an opportunity to, 1, fix those mistakes, but 2, to see what you're doing right.
Yes.
You need to know what you're doing wrong, but you need to know what you're doing right as well. So don't be afraid to watch the game film. The second thing is know who you are outside of your jersey. And so a chapter in my book is called Role versus Identity.
Well, when did the book come out? We didn't talk about the book. What's going on with the book? Well, we'll save that. Go ahead. I don't want to stop your thoughts. Go ahead. So in my book, When the Buzzer Sounds, the very first chapter is called Role versus Identity. And I did that because I need people to first be able to separate who they are with their jersey on versus who they are when they take that jersey off. The jersey is off more times than not, than it's on. And so it's like you have to be able to really focus on who you are as a person, your identity, and no matter what role you have, whether you're the starter, whether you're the last player on the bench, whether you have your dream job or you're just in a job that's trying to get you by, whether you married the right person or you married the wrong person, you have to stay true to who you are. For sure.
And that falls under integrity, that falls under self-acceptance, that just helps you live a fruitful life. How do I say it? Do your checks and balances. Number 3, do your checks and balances and do have a ledger, a ledger of your life, not just as an athlete, but just as of your life. And I say that because you'll see that everything that you've done and you've been through, whether you succeeded or failed, is preparing you for whatever is coming next.
For sure.
Again, I wrote When the Buzzer Sounds because I had to, once I was injured, I had to take all of those experiences and still make them mean something. So when I say God wouldn't bring me this far just to drop me, it's like, no, he brought me this far so that now I can take what I have and then use that to go forward.
Absolutely.
So when I show people my resume, there's black writing and red writing. Black is the stuff that they like to celebrate. Red is all of the struggles in between those that help me get to that next black line item that they like.
For sure.
You know, so all experiences matter. And then last one. Do it for you. We always want to do things for other people. When I make it big, I'm gonna get my mama a house. I'm gonna buy my dad a boat and blah, blah, blah. That's great. But at the end of the day, you have to live for yourself. You know, you have to accept yourself. And this is near and dear to my heart because I was the person that wanted to do everything for my family. You know, I mean, the baby of 5, both my parents, you know, were married forever. So there's 6 other people that I'm trying to make sure I'm doing everything for. And it's like, well, what about me? You can't be the lowest man on the totem pole in your own life.
For sure.
You know, and so that one is near and dear to me. You have to do it for yourself, not forgetting other people, but remembering you.
Now, listen, I don't even want to talk no more. That right was to the point to where I hope the young people understand exactly what you're saying. And I like how you phrased it and you fused sports into what you were saying. So amazing job. Please read her book. I didn't even know about the book, right? But go get her book and read her book. And thank you once again for tuning in. Peace and love. Love and peace. Later.